right, great. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Like I said, I don't have much. I was really just hoping to get a kind of like a committee update, see what, how things are going, and where we're at with things.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin, you want to
There's
share?
a train going by my house. I might have to mute just a second. But...
Yeah, it looks like we're getting more people joining the call. So if you guys could please in the chat put your first and last name and where you're joining us from and what program, please.
I'll go first. I'm Vic Jarvis from the Iowa Department of Education. And I'm joining you from the snowy hinterland of Adel, Iowa. Normally I would be downtown. Twice a week I go into the cubicle there. So it's weird to have a snowstorm in April, but I'd rather have it when I'm working from home.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Elva Griffin, program coordinator for the Iowa After School Alliance. I know I've met a lot of you, but there's some that maybe I haven't. So I am one that you'll be getting some emails from me. Yeah, if you guys, so Heidi and I both got new email addresses. So we no longer have that SPPG email. We are now egriffin@iowaafterschoolalliance.org. So if you guys could please start to use those email addresses, that would be much appreciated.
Alva, can you keep those old emails in case you get somebody sending you that and just have it forward to your new one?
Yes. Yep.
An autoresponder, because that you guys have been at SPPG for a long time and you may get an occasional email where somebody needs that notification.
Right. Yep. Nope. Of course. Yes. That's what we've got going on right now.
Good.
But just so that people update their contacts list, maybe that would be helpful.
Good morning. This is Billy Stone, Des Moines, Iowa, Oak Ridge Neighborhood Services, the education coordinator here. I do not have a video. I don't know why.
I can go too. I'm Caitlin Schmidt from Dubuque, Iowa, at St. Mark Youth Enrichment. I'm the chair of this committee. I don't know how long it's been, at least a year. And as well as these meetings getting back into a regular cadence, I am also freshly returned from work from a parental leave. So I'm still very much in the catch-up state of mind in the last couple of weeks.
I'm Erin Brookshire, Fort Dodge, Dodger Academy After School and Summer Program. I don't know what else I'm supposed to answer.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Erin. Oh, Lynn, I think you're muted. See you.
Apparently my space bar doesn't work to unmute myself right now. I'm Lynn Redenbaugh with Storm Lake Community School District. I'm the director of our pre-K through 8 before and after school programs.
I'm Elena Harm, previously Elena Zoller. I got married and was also on maternity leave for most of this year. So I think I'm back as a whole new person. But I'm the program director for Council Bluffs Community Schools, all of our 21st century programs here.
Double congrats, Elena.
Oh, sorry. I don't think we got to hear you. Is it Tanya? Oh, no, still can't hear you. Yep. That's all right. You can use the chat if you're having issues with the sound.
I don't know why hers is being weird. She's in a room right next to me. So this is Tawny, though. She is new this year to the Council Bluffs staff as well, as a program specialist for just kind of support across all of our sites and some other programs in our district. So
Awesome.
Tawny is how we say it.
Tawny. Okay, cool. Thank you. Well, welcome, and it's nice to be back. You know, both Heidi and I are really looking forward to just get back into our regular cadence of having our meetings. So, yeah, I don't know if Caitlin, if you want to kind of give us an update of what the committee has been working on, or you know what they've got going on so far.
Sure. I mean, we've been on a hiatus in a sense as well, you know, in the last several months, but you know, I think we ended the year, all of us having to work on our evaluation pieces around the November timeframe when all of our local evaluations are due. So, you know, those are the last maybe pieces that we connected on as a group. We did have in the last year or so, you know, we did work on things like the committee guide, which I do have a copy pulled up too, if that would be a helpful frame of reference, just to refamiliarize ourselves. It did have laid out, at least in a more general sense, some goals for the committee, not necessarily specific to a year or what this current year would look like, but in general, it's the real purpose is to help all of us with our evaluation and reporting needs as it relates to 21st, making sure that we have, you know, any guidance that's necessary from Vic or others on how to go about our evaluation. We pulled in Ron and Rusty in the past as well to help guide anything for those more formal evaluation pieces, or just, you know, more informal feedback from one another on the different tools and resources that maybe one group is using and can share with others. We've also worked on the changes for the APR system and creating some universal kind of data collection tools for spreadsheets for the data to go into before you submit those types of pieces. So, I mean, I don't have anything, I don't think, on the horizon of a project like that. We had previously kind of dedicated each one of these meetings to a focus area. So typically in this April timeframe, I had tentative to, you know, look at the statewide survey, which I don't think, you know, that was taken this year, distributed this year. So that could be potential point of discussion for us here. Otherwise, I think having this kind of open agenda for today and just discussing general goals or issues, troubleshooting of how evaluation has been going since we haven't connected in a while. I think that would maybe touch base with each person, give a temperature check of how things are going. That might be helpful.
Yeah.
Caitlin, one
Yes.
thing we can do is pick Ron and Rusty's brain. They've been working, and every year they take notes on the changes that they need to do for the next template, and you know, things that they need to highlight. Because when we review the local evaluation, sometimes it's evident that something needs to be changed. So that could be an ongoing thing, and maybe the next meeting we could have them come in and talk about some of the changes that'll be upcoming. That way it's not so much on you. And you know, we have got to ease into this because it's not easy to go without for a long time, and then you know we come back and you know to have a bunch of stuff ready to go. That
I
sound
think
fair?
yeah, I think having them is always a very valuable resource for the group.
Okay.
And we might have, I don't think they were able to join our last meeting. I think it was in December. I do remember we kind of circled around the local evaluation and had just maybe one small area that we all discussed, which was around the the narrative portions, like the best practices and some like we all just had freshly done the local evaluation, so we had it in our minds to, what seems not streamlined, what was a little bit maybe confusing or needed clarity. And so we have done that, I think, in our most recent meeting. So I think if that can pull in Ron and Rusty now and have them walk us through anything, that would be an extension of where we left off.
Now, somebody was going to say something, and I apologize for doing that, but I'm getting old, and I got to say things when they're in my mind, or otherwise I might forget.
That's perfect. That's a good idea to have Ron and Rusty. I know we in the past we have taken breaks in the summer from our committee meetings. I don't know if we're going to continue that. Because our next meeting would be in June. I don't know if we want to continue that, if we want to schedule that June meeting, or if we want to take that break. Erin, you're shaking your head. Yes, we should have the meeting.
I think we should, only because we've had such a hiatus, and if we want to get behind the ball and stay on top of what we need to do for the upcoming year and like finishing out this year, I think it would be beneficial to have it. And then when we have our next meeting in August, because I'm assuming they're every other month.
Yeah.
So the next one would be in August, right when we're getting ready to either finish our summer programming, start our school year stuff. And I think it would be great to have something instead of going back another 4 months and saying, oh, what did we do back in April? Like, what are we doing now? Just even if it's not a full meeting, just so we know what to prepare for August.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Oh, and this committee might actually have some work in the summer. I have to get it approved, but I have extra money because I didn't have a contract to pay. So I, had to inform them that we need to spend this money so we don't send it back to the feds. And there's a couple of options, and they'll have to review and decide. But one of those options would be to do a bid on some 21st century software. And what we would do would be we would restrict the bidders to those who are already serving Iowa. So we wouldn't be getting somebody that's brand new. It would be somebody that's already been doing that. And I believe there's 3 different companies that are already in Iowa doing this. And the nice thing is it'll help you with your APR submissions theoretically, because you're going to be gathering some of that data. Don't know how well they do with the new GEPRA measures. But that's something we can kind of take a look at internally. But if we do one like this, we need to have some people to review the proposals.
Perfect. Yeah. So we can plan on then having Ron and Rusty join us in June. And we can reach out to them and get them invited to our meeting. And then we'll have one in August and just kind of pick back up on our cadence.
And would the statewide report be out by then too, based on our last, or maybe it's out now and I just don't know.
It's not out yet.
Not yet.
I've been giving out extensions, and everybody has different circumstances, and I have no problem with it because we want to put together the data, and it takes time to get all the different sets. We've been kind of trying to work around not having that survey, and then we also have the 1-pager, and I think we can still get that in. And then we've got an additional 1 or 2 new data items to include that I think will be good in the state report. And you may have already gotten an email from Ron and Rusty, because what they do is they check the validity of all the data you send in. You know, there may be a calculation error that they catch, you know. Rusty's a math professor, you know, he's been teaching math for years at the college, and Ron, he's got a PhD in psychometrics, which is what you want for an evaluator. So, you know, we've got people that are very highly qualified doing this. And that's why our evaluations, you know, come out very good every year. So we're taking our time with this. So, and we do, you know, there's some things that we can't control, like the APR. Oh, and by the way, that we got 100% on that.
Great.
That's awesome.
One thing that is kind of, I don't know if it makes sense to review or not, but you know, these different kind of themes of things, having Ron and Rusty talk about local evaluation, APR, like these are all the buckets of things that we all work on and could have potential focus as a committee to support. I wonder if reviewing the previous layout of the month structure of, you know, the every other month meetings and their focus areas would be helpful to see if they still make sense, or
Absolutely.
if the fluidity of that could just, you know, be open as needs arise. But I'll see how it formats in the chat, because I'm pulling it from the what do I want to say, evaluation guide. A little bit funky of a paste. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Caitlin, you can share if
I can share. Okay. I didn't know if I had those.
oh, you should be able to.
permission. I do. No problem. Okay. Everyone's seen
Mhm.
committee guide. Great. So the layout is just in these bullets here. And obviously we're jumping into April right now, but just really kind of recalibrating what we're doing. Previously, we had the statewide survey as a focus area, and that would have been, you know, having had done it, I think, you know, normally in January timeframe, so it would have been semi fresh of having taken the survey. And this committee in the past has provided feedback about maybe like duplicative questions or just clarity around questions. And obviously that survey did not happen. And Vic, you had just mentioned maybe trying to streamline things to eliminate the survey. So that one would be up for, you know, changing.
Well, and yeah, I don't know if we'll completely eliminate it, but Ron and Rusty went through, and there were some questions they were asking the same things. So that's another thing that they could show you, that they went through and reduced the survey questions. So we could take a look at that and see if there's further things you want to take out, or maybe there's something we're not asking that we should.
Yeah. I think it'll be good to have a little bit of a plan going in to use Ron and Rusty's time well. So take these notes for our next meeting. June, I don't think we've done this necessarily, and obviously the statewide report is quite large for us to do any real you know, deep discussion on, you know, the thing in whole, or maybe different parts of it. So that was just a tentative spot in June, and then also evaluation timeline just overall, and I think helping us get ready to start the next year off right with you know, helping build a timeline and evaluation that gives you enough time to do all the assessments, do all the analysis and those types of things.
Yep.
And then August is usually a good time for APR to, as you're starting off school year, making sure the template is in place and at the start to be able to use those tools when the time comes to report, and also for the previous year, actually starting to use the templates to begin the reporting process, because those happen in the fall typically as well. And then October is just before local evaluations come due in November. So that is when we had Ron and Rusty as well. I think there's also usually a separate webinar that's specific to the kind of technical assistance for local evaluators to join, to use those templates and things as well. But usually as you start to work on it, things prop up. So that's the space held in October for that. And then December, this is when we had our last meeting. I think we did just a little bit of this about sharing ways that we can share our outcomes out more publicly, making things a little bit more. I have an alarm in my basement for water, and all this rain. I must have water coming into my basement, so I might have to go grab that. Otherwise, you'll hear a shrill noise the whole time. So that's the full view. I'm gonna go pop off and figure out that if you guys have any thoughts in the meantime, discuss what those months look like.
Yep. Take care of the water issue. So anyway, one of the things with Ron and Rusty, they provide training every year on the template, and we really need to make it a requirement that your local evaluators attend, because what we see is the ones that have everything in place are those who have attended at least, one or more of the trainings. And the folks who didn't attend, that's where we run into some issues. They look at the template, and we're the only state that offers training for local evaluators, and Ron and Rusty also provide technical assistance year-round with if you have an evaluation issue. So we're unique in that respect. So use that as a resource for you. You may
How
want to
come the
put it in
training
your
isn't required?
Pardon me?
The training's not required for local evaluators?
Well, yeah, but we're going to emphasize it more. I mean, yeah, and on your level, when you do a contract with an evaluator, you may want to ask that they put it in there that they must attend this training.
Okay. I mean, the one we have for Fort Dodge did anyways. He's already given feedback to some of the evaluators. But I was just wondering, because I thought it was already required
Yeah,
that we
you had
attended.
Ed Grunland. Yeah.
Yep.
I've known Ed for many years, and he did evaluation in the AEA system. So, he would not have, if he missed the training, it wouldn't matter because he's been to other trainings.
Okay.
And if he has a question, he's not shy. He reaches out to us and we get him the answer. So that's what we want to see. Some of these guys we don't hear from, or gals, and they turn stuff in, and we have to go and get back with them. So just asking you guys to make sure that it's a requirement in the contract that you provide with your local evaluators.
I think we've had some discussion around this in the past too, but I always feel like it's beneficial for myself, although I'm not the contracted evaluator, to attend those as well, because the level of work that we're having our local evaluator do is not necessarily completing that form in full. They are providing the data behind it and the analysis and some comments and things, but I'm the one physically, manipulating the template and adding all of the pieces and most of the narrative around the data. So it's always yes, they have that needing to know the end use of how the expectations are for the data to come through and the recommendations for the program, but it's a lot of information for a local evaluator to sit through if they're not necessarily, collecting the partnerships piece or the, I don't know, all of the pieces around just the program description and things like that as well. So it is highly encouraged, I think, to just, if you're the evaluation person for the grant components, to check that out too.
Yes, that's a good idea that, if you're working with evaluation in any capacity, you should try to attend at least one of those trainings, because it would be very useful for you.
How often do they offer that training?
Once a year.
Once a year?
Yep, we update the template once a year, and we do that around August. And then we do the training.
And this group has had a role in making those suggestions for the template to change.
Mhm.
Lynn, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to agree with you, Caitlin, that there's so much that I do with that form that it doesn't make sense for time to have our local evaluator go through the whole training. And so under normal circumstances, we don't. And our local evaluator's been doing it for a number of years as well. So.
And if ever there's a particular change, you can always segment the video or something, the recording's always available, which is nice to have on hand in those instances that something is needing to be.
And even sitting on this committee, I still sit through and go to those trainings, because there's, there can be discussions and questions that come up from everybody else that are helpful for us too.
Oh no. The water is spreading, so the alarm keeps. Wow.
Oh no. Yeah, that's definitely a good tip to attend those trainings if possible. I mean, it only, just gives us more background to what they're looking at. And yeah. So that was for June and August. So it looks like we'll just keep the same topics or the focus for those meetings, with the exception of bringing in Ron and Rusty for that June.
And there's been some updated guidance on evaluation from the feds, and we've been incorporating that guidance into the template as well. So.
Okay. I don't think there's anything in particular else I wanted the committee guide pulled up for. If those things still make sense, then we're on track, I think, as a committee to continually just offer our feedback on these different areas. And overall, the goals I could just show you are up here. The first page of the committee guide. So I didn't have anything else, thoughts for this first meeting back on the agenda, but if there's anyone who's having questions or needs troubleshooting, I mean, this is the time and place also to bring that up.
Oh, Caitlin, under primary contacts, you need to take Tim Glenn off of there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got him a promotion
okay.
now, and
Yeah.
so he's an administrative consultant, and he's working more with finance.
And then I'll make sure to.
And I currently don't have anybody else to support me on that particular area yet. But when you put in your claims in the CASA, He's the guy that makes sure they get to finance. He reviews that and
I'll just make those small tweaks for contacts and send an updated.
you can leave that in there without a name and say to be to be determined, and then you send that to as a reminder to my supervisors and say, hey, Vic needs some help here. So it's good to get back together again.
Yeah. All right, well, I've got nothing else. I don't know, Heidi, did you wanna?
Get the recording off.
Oh, yep, let me go ahead and stop recording.